Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely epic. We're going to embark on a journey that spans literally 13.8 billion years. We'll be traveling all the way from the most unfathomably huge macroscopic structures of the universe right down into the microscopic, hidden depths of the human mind. We're going to explore exactly how existence organized itself, going from a single, infinitely dense point into a staggering network of matter, information, and ultimately, well, awareness itself.
So, let's just jump right in with a pretty profound question. Is the universe just some cold, random collection of objects drifting in a giant void? Or is it actually a deeply interconnected, living system? To wrap our heads around the idea that humanity might literally be the cosmos, waking up and looking back at itself, we actually have to start at our first layer of understanding, and that is empirical science.
You know, when you look up at the night sky, it kind of looks like galaxies are just randomly scattered everywhere, right? But on a true cosmic scale, they're actually woven together into this massive, breathtaking architecture we call the cosmic web. Over 13.8 billion years, gravity pulled dark matter together to build this underlying scaffolding. It created these massive filaments stretching across billions of light years. Honestly, it looks almost exactly like a giant cosmic nervous system. And right where these filaments intersect, we get these incredibly dense galactic nodes, all separated by vast pitch-black cosmic voids. It's not random at all. It's a highly organized structural masterpiece.
But here's the wild part. This grand, mind-bogglingly huge macrostructure is built from a very specific microscopic alphabet. Just 118 letters, the 118 elements on the periodic table. Now, I know the periodic table might just seem like that poster from your high school chemistry lab, but it's actually the literal vocabulary of the universe. Every single star out there, every planet, and yes, every single cell in your body right now relies entirely on those 118 elements.
So, you might be wondering, where did this chemical alphabet even come from? Well, stars are quite literally cosmic forges. Inside the intense, crushing heat of stellar nucleosynthesis, giant red stars fuse the carbon and oxygen that are sitting in your cells right now. And the really heavy elements, things like gold or uranium, to forge those, the universe required the absolute cataclysmic violence of dying stars and massive supernova. I mean, we've even verified this by observing supernova SN 1987A. So when people say you're made of stardust, that's not just poetry, it is a rigorous, verified scientific fact.
Okay, so once these heavy elements scattered and finally coalesced onto our rocky little planet, a whole new phase kicked off. Biological evolution. Starting from simple, single-celled microbial life about 3.8 billion years ago, all the way to the famous Cambrian explosion of complex animal body plans, natural selection just kept marching onward. But the most staggering leap of all? That happened just a tiny cosmic blink of an eye ago, roughly 70,000 years ago. That's when the cognitive revolution hit Homo sapiens, completely sparking abstract thought and the cumulative culture we have today.
And that massive cognitive leap, it was powered by a biological structure containing a truly staggering number of components, 86 billion. That is the approximate number of individual neurons densely packed inside the human brain. Just to put that into perspective for a second, you are carrying roughly the same number of neurons around in your skull right now as there are actual stars in the entire Milky Way galaxy. Crazy, right? But the real magic here isn't just the sheer number of neurons. It's actually how they connect with one another. Those 86 billion neurons link up to form an absolutely mind-bending connectome of 100 trillion synaptic connections. So think about this. We've gone from looking at a vast, sprawling cosmic web of galaxies to zooming in on a microscopic biological network that seriously rivals the entire cosmos in its sheer, unadulterated complexity. Which brings us perfectly to our second layer of understanding, mathematics and information. When you look closely at these two systems, there is a shocking isomorphism, which is just a fancy mathematical term meaning they share the same structural similarities between these two vastly different scales. You've got the cosmic web spanning billions of light years, entirely governed by gravity. And then you've got our neural networks spanning mere millimeters, governed by electrochemistry. Yet, topologically speaking, they are incredibly similar. Both are perfectly, beautifully optimized to integrate and transmit information. And honestly, that is the true beauty of complex systems. Whether you're watching the breathtaking synchronized dance of a starling murmuration in the sky, or you're tracking data packets flying across the global internet, or even just measuring the firing of those neurons in your brain, they all follow the exact same mathematical rules of emergent self-organization. It's this idea that simple, local rules can spontaneously generate incredibly complex, unpredictable beauty, stuff that no single part could have ever created on its own. Seeing this universal architecture actually leads us to a pre-mind-bending idea from the brilliant physicist John Archibald Wheeler. He coined the phrase, "it from bit." Wheeler proposed that, at its absolute core, reality isn't actually made of solid matter at all. It's made of binary information, kind of like the ones and zeros in computer code. He suggested that every single physical particle derives its very existence from fundamental yes or no acts of observation. In this view, information isn't just something the universe contains, it is the fundamental building block of reality itself.
Now, if information truly is fundamental, well, that forces us right into our third layer, philosophical analysis. And here we run headfirst into what philosopher David Chalmers famously called the hard problem of consciousness. See, science can map the brain's 100 trillion synapses perfectly. We can trace all that complex electrochemistry. But why do those dark, purely physical processes actually produce a subjective felt experience? Why is there something it is like to taste a hot cup of coffee, or feel joy, or simply be you? Traditional physical reductionism really struggles to answer that why.
And this right here reveals the profound paradox of a self-observing universe. Think about it. If reality is fundamentally an information processing system, and our human brains are the most complex nodes of integration we've ever discovered, then human consciousness definitely isn't just some random evolutionary accident. We are literally the mechanism through which the universe experiences itself. It's as if the cosmos spent 13.8 billion years evolving and organizing just so we could finally open its eyes and comprehend its own beauty. But to truly grasp the weight of this, we have to recognize our epistemic boundaries. Science is absolutely unparalleled at mapping the physical structure of reality. It tells us the how. But finding meaning, finding purpose, and answering that deep why, well, that requires a completely different lens. Scientific reductionism brilliantly explains the physical mechanics of it all, but we need philosophy and faith to step in and interpret what this grand, intricate design actually signifies for us.
And that brings us naturally to our fourth and final layer, faith and contemplation. Because when deep theological frameworks look at all this structural data, they don't see randomness, they find profound purpose. Take classical Islamic thought, for example. In Surah Al-Imran, it actively praises those who deeply reflect on the cosmos and come to the conclusion, "Our Lord, you did not create this aimlessly." The sheer mathematical elegance of the universe naturally inspires a sense of reverence. It strongly suggests that this highly ordered, beautiful system has a deliberate intent behind it.
And logically, if the universe has intent, then so does the observer within it, you and me. This leads us to the beautiful concept of amana, or cosmic stewardship. Basically, your consciousness isn't just a cool byproduct of evolution. It's a profound responsibility. We've been given this entirely unique capacity to understand these cosmic laws so that we can act as active caretakers of creation. We aren't just meant to blindly consume and exist within the system, you know? We are actively tasked with maintaining its balance and harmony. So when you put it all together, you realize these disciplines don't contradict each other at all. Instead, they form an ascending staircase of a truly unified journey. Empirical science provides those crucial objective measurements of stars and cells. Mathematics maps out all that emergent complexity. Philosophy pushes us to ask the hard questions about the nature of meaning. And finally, faith provides that ultimate sense of purpose, taking all our raw knowledge and transforming it into active, meaningful stewardship.
This entire journey we've been on reveals one undeniable, incredible truth. The universe is definitely not just a collection of dead rocks floating in space. It is a highly active, living, unified network of energy, matter, and information. And humanity? We sit right at the apex of this complexity. We literally bridge the gap between ancient atoms forged in dead stars and the profound, waking realization of existence itself.
Which leaves us with one final, lingering thought to close out this explainer. If the universe literally spent 13.8 billion years expanding, forging heavy elements in the fiery hearts of supernova, and carefully wiring together 100 trillion synapses, just to build a mind capable of understanding it all, what are you going to do with yours? Thank you so much for exploring this incredible journey with us. Keep questioning, keep reflecting, and we'll see you in the next explainer.